I'm just going to turn you on, Aki, I'm going to turn you on, Ak, which, to be honest,
hey, baby,
which I've never thought I'd say in my life, and hopefully never say it again.
I can criticise how you drive on your driving roads.
Every time you get within a gnat's breath of a village, you're going to be shot back down to 30 or even 20 miles per hour. Okay.
Gee, oh my God.
I think it's left an impression. Brain nourishment and a sort of...
It gets to that rev limiter quick. We're doing some miles an hour.
I'm late for work and my fuel light has just come on, so I'm going to be even later for work.
Welcome everyone. This is Ak, if you're new to the channel, from Ak Rides, a link to which is at the end of the video. And I'm Paul from Live to Drive and Live for Travel, because I'm greedy and I've got two other channels. You've got another channel actually, you've got a gaming channel. What's that one called?
Mad Gaming, which is basically middle-aged dad gaming.
You had to think about it.
Because I'm middle-aged and I'm a dad.
We're going to basically just talk about favourite driving roads, and I'm consulting, it's probably just out of camera, some notes to make sure that we crack off and get on with what I've got noted down. Who wants to go first?
I think you should go first so I can basically criticise your driving roads.
Need a cup of coffee then. You can't criticise my driving roads.
Well, I can criticise how you drive on your driving roads, unless of course you're in your Clio Cup.
That I've sold. So, right then.
You've sold it?
Yes, that's for another day.
Oh, Jesus.
So, for me personally, I don't know, before we say about the driving roads, and maybe you do the same with the bikes, what car would you use on the driving roads?
Well, the thing is, unlike you, I only actually own one motorcycle. I mean, I could take Mrs. Ack's bike out, but I'd have to do it either stealthily or beg, one of the two. So
wind the mileage back afterwards.
Yeah. But you've got like 8 cars.
Okay, that's a bit unfair. What I meant to say was any vehicle.
Oh, as an
whether we own one, yeah, whether we own one.
Okay, fine.
I guess what I'm aiming for is the roads that we have in the UK, at least a good B road or even a good A road. The maximum speed, which would be on a boring dual carriageway, would be 70 miles an hour. So where was we? So for me,
talking about my technical inability.
for me, before we get to what the driving roads are,
what bikes do we use for the driving roads?
Yeah, and for me, obviously, therefore, what cars? Because the way I see it is, a good B road or good A road, we've got to ignore dual carriageways because there ain't going to be much fun on a dual carriageway.
We ignore anything with a natural speed limit, quite frankly, because they're all boring.
But there are some good natural speed limits on single carriageway, which means it's 60 mile an hour, of course, in the UK.
Yeah.
So for me...
Okay, ignore dual and triple carriageways. We ignore all of them.
We'll ignore all of them. So if you're on a good twisty B road, for instance, and it's 50 mile an hour, 60 mile an hour, whatever, something super fast isn't what you're going to want, because you're not going to...
Speak for yourself.
For me, in a car, it's not going to cut it.
Define super fast, whether you want something that is literally in a straight line,
yeah, if
or
it's
whether
0
you
to
want
16...
something that can really have fun within the corners, because to me it's all about the corners.
And that's what I'm getting to, you see, because I could have something really flash and well out of my price range at the end of the day, like a Ferrari 458 Speciale, an absolutely beautiful car. I would love to own one.
Yeah, there's a Bentley Coupe. I think it's called a Continental GT. Is it
that
Continental
would make sense.
GT?
That would make sense.
Beautiful
and probably car. 200 grand or more.
Yeah. No, my point is that would be very fast and very comfortable, but it's probably not going to be that exciting in the corners.
The problem is, it's going to be big.
Heavy.
And it's going to be heavy.
But that's good, though, for stability.
Right.
Depending on how you want to drive it, of course.
For me, on a twisty B road,
no, you don't want
a small hot hatch to me is the best.
Yeah.
And ignoring the Clio,
RS3.
And no, ignoring the all RS3s I see, I always look at and think they're stolen. So,
well, because they probably are.
Ignoring the 2 Clios that I've had that were both RSs, which were great on the B roads because Michelin Pilot Sport 4 or whatever tyres, they would grip no matter what. For me, less power can be more fun, and I know on my little list that I've got here that I mention VW Up GTI, and the reason I choose the VW Up GTI is You can rev the nuts off it. It's a little 1 litre turbocharged car.
How much did it put it out? Power?
I think it's around 100, something like that.
Oh wow!
It's
so
a little.
it's not at all powerful.
It's
then.
well. What I
Not in
know
a car,
is
anyway.
what I know is it's a little 1 litre car, right?
Is it a lot of fun to
It's
drive?
rev happy.
Yeah, good.
It's very short. The wheels are in each corner, so there's no overhangs.
Yeah,
It's going to
probably not much
sound.
bigger than. I think about real estate and tyres.
It's
on the
smaller
road.
than a Fiesta.
A smart car.
Yeah, it's bigger than the smart
Bigger
car,
than a smart
but it's
car.
smaller than a Fiesta.
Yeah, I've seen them.
It's rev happy. It's got a little zippy, as I say, turbocharged 3-pot motor, and it is 0 to 60. I think in about 8 seconds or something. So it's
That's not bad.
in the sort of growing up days.
Yeah.
8 seconds. So
Yeah,
think
no,
sort of
agreed.
early XR2s and stuff like
Oh,
that.
XR2s, my God, now you go. Now that was a car that handled well.
But they were probably around 8 seconds.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So for me, if you're going to be on a 50, 60 mile an hour B road in the UK, of which, let's be honest, every time you get within a gnat's breath of a village, you're going to be shot back down to 30 or even 20 miles per hour. You want something that's going to feel like it's going a lot faster.
Yeah.
So
You do.
I think for me, something like checking his watch already. For me,
We should have kind of like made a mental note when we started. Did you make a mental note when we started?
anyone would think we're new to this. We must have started about 5 hours ago. It's taking too long. So stick me in a little VW up GTI,
Yeah.
rev it to within an inch of its life, and have a lot of fun. And for me, I can't think of a road in the UK that I couldn't have fun in something so small and so nippy. So yes, the Clio was quicker and it gripped well, so it was excellent as a B road muncher, definitely. But the big stuff, like the 458 that I would love to own a 458 Speciale on a B road. We've hit what car I would use, so before I pick the roads, what bike would you use and why?
It's difficult because I would go for bikes at the opposite end of the scale.
As in extreme power.
They're both extremely powerful, but one is built for ease of power, a bit like your Bentley Continental
More
GT.
progressive power. Note the little animated thing
Yeah.
that I
No,
did
it
there.
will still go like a cat on a hot tin roof, but it's like effortless. You don't have to wring its neck to do it. Handles well in the corners, but it's not a sports bike. GSX 1300
Okay.
Hayabusa.
Okay.
And the other one would be, it won't be a current model because I don't like the look of the current model. It'll be a 2017 facelift Honda Fireblade, which is a CBR 1000R. Which
Got
is a
more chance
sports
of
bike.
knowing what that one looks like, to be fair.
Yeah. The reason why I like the 2017 model is because it was a facelift and it's the best looking Fireblade in my opinion, bar the first ever one that came out in '94.
Okay.
And I actually rode it for an afternoon once.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I think it's left an impression.
If I'm totally honest with you, I wasn't using it realistically any more than half of the rev range. Because anything above half of the rev range, it just gets into Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner type ridiculous speeds.
I had a little
And
mimim in the background.
Yeah, and even when you're going quickly up to the half rev range, which is about 8,000, 7,000, 8,000 rev, something like that, I was seeing off anything and everything with four wheels with absolute ease, and it handled in the corners like it was on rails. It was just literally into a corner, throw it in, nail it coming out, and it would just
It would do it.
catapult. It was just insane. I absolutely loved it. But the only issue is because I'm old and creaky, and it's a sports bike whereby you're leaning forward. A, there's a lot of weight on your wrists,
Yeah.
and B, after about 30 minutes in the saddle, it's unless of course you're young and flexible, unlike
Well,
me.
you know, I was a long time ago, maybe.
It's quite frankly painful for long distances. But for playing on, if I could just have a bike to play on, it'll be that.
It's going to get the adrenaline.
Undoubtedly, it'll be no more than an hour every now and then. I'll just go out and be stupid.
I admit that. I admit if I ever do ride a bike,
Yeah.
because obviously I only ride pillion with Mr. Ack, I would prefer it to be the sit up and beg, I would call it. I don't know what
Yeah,
I don't know what you call it in biking world.
Yeah, well,
I certainly wouldn't want to be hunched over
yeah,
and
no, agreed.
for sure.
It'll be an adventure bike or a naked.
So
relatively upright.
I've given the VW Up GTI, which was a nice
Yeah.
little curveball you weren't obviously expecting, which is good. That's a couple of nice bikes that you've just, and we will have put it up on screen anyway for the viewers. I guess that means we get to the roads, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
you go first. How many roads have you got? Because if we're going to do anything like last time, when I asked you how many you've got and you went like 15,
I've been a good boy this time.
don't tell me you've got less than 3.
I've got,
I can see more than 3 lines.
yeah, but that's just a lot of text. I reckon there's probably is only 3, to be fair.
Okay.
You'll be impressed. So the first one, as I scroll, and I've cheated. Evo magazine has mentioned this many times, and actually at the time of filming this video, it's quite pertinent. Ack might not know this bit because he might not have read the recent news. It's the Snake Pass, because the Snake Pass, everyone's heard of the Snake
I've
Pass.
heard of it. Well, where is it geographically?
Well, it's in Derbyshire.
Okay. So it's up your neck of the woods then?
It's up my neck of the woods, and it goes, I've got here, from a place called Ashbourne to Saddleworth Moor. Now, there are speed cameras here and there.
They're all going to be 50s,
There's always going to be
aren't
speed,
they?
quite probably. But the number of twists, straights, you've got something called Lady Blower Reservoir with an inn of the same name, so you can pull up there and have a sort of break. It's something I'm going to have to do on my car channel. In any car, I don't really care which, to be quite honest. But the reason it's pertinent is because I read an article, I think it was as recent as 2 days ago, that Derbyshire County Council, that are therefore responsible for the road, are considering permanently closing it.
Really?
Similar to, and for the same reason, as another Derbyshire road,
Cat and Fiddle.
which is on, it's by a place called Castleton.
Are they thinking of closing it purely because for allegedly road safety reasons?
Well, I
or
thought that when I started
road
to read the
maintenance
so I
reasons?
thought that when I started to read the article. So
Yeah.
for anyone familiar with, I think it's by Castleton, Blue John Caverns, place called Mam Tor. There is a road there. In fact, it's the backdrop on our travel channel that we have on YouTube.
Okay.
Of a road that's like this. It does big
Is that the one
chunks
with
of broken off sections
Okay.
because of landslides.
Yeah.
And that's been closed for years. So, yes, initially when I read the article, I thought to myself, oh, here we go. They just can't afford to keep patching it up or whatever. It's a bit more technical than that, but they can't afford it because it keeps having landslides. And
Oh, really?
they think that the amount of money they're going to need if the predicted landslide is going to happen, because they're getting these issues where they're having to fill areas and they kind of, I guess the surveyors are saying, well, this isn't going to last, etc., whatever.
Yeah.
They're basically saying to the government, if you don't give us extra money because we're a special case, i.e. the pots of money that everywhere else gets, they're not dealing with landslides, then they're probably going to close it, which would be horrendous for people like me, because although I haven't done it yet, I want to experience the Snake Pass. But I would suggest to people watching this podcast, go and enjoy the Snake Pass now, because in a few years' time, it might be lost forever. Now, I'm going to go... No, you do your first one. Should we do it that way? Because you've heard my voice enough.
Yeah.
So what's your first one out of the 3?
No.
And
2.
why?
It's 2.
You've only got 2.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
okay.
basically, because there's lots of little sections of roads absolutely everywhere where you get maybe a set of corners. You think, oh, I really like this set of corners. But to actually find a road where you like the entirety of the whole thing, that's not blighted by little towns or a speed
It's
camera.
not a Snake Pass.
or-
I've got to drive to it to enjoy it, haven't I?
Yeah, but my point is, a road from start to finish that isn't blighted in some way, shape or form by something that ruins the experience, whether it's a village, whether it's a speed limit, whether it's a speed camera, whether it's like a dangerous bend. You're with me. So,
Yeah.
But my first one is a very short road. I don't know how long it is in distance. And it's the A413 from Aylesbury going north to Buckingham.
Okay.
It's my test route on my channel when I do bikes. But it's, how do I describe this road? Single carriageways, national speed limit. But,
Lots of
we
twisties.
don't concern ourselves. Yeah, and the twisties are actually all quite fast.
Yeah.
And some of the road is reasonably bumpy. We're not talking bumpy whereby it can throw you out, but bumpy enough whereby at speed you got to pay attention.
Okay. But you want that, to be fair.
I to keep the line.
Yeah, you want that.
I mean, if you're an idiot, I could see that it'd be quite easy to stick it in a field. But there's one particular piece where you go down a road and it kind of does that. Straight down, straight down, and then into a long right hand, and it goes up, and it's fast and sweeping, as fast as you dare, quite frankly. Allegedly, I heard a story of a motorcyclist who was riding my bike.
Did he look a bit like you?
Probably more handsome than me.
Okay.
But the sort of corners are whereby you're hitting them. It's just amazing. I mean, there's a video. One of my early videos when I test rode a Triumph Speed Triple 1200.
Okay.
Oh my God! And if you actually look at it, that's one of the roads that I'm on, and you'll get to see what it's really like.
We'll have to put a link under this video. For that
fine.
one.
But that little road, and ironically, I don't find it as entertaining going from Buckingham south to Aylesbury.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just one particular direction I really like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just...
Well, a lot of people prefer the NC 500 one way versus the other.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's
agreed,
just,
yeah.
I think people
It's
prefer
clockwise,
to...
isn't it?
Yeah,
Clockwise
I'm trying to
you
remember
prefer
which
to
way,
do
but from what I remember reading, it's because the scenery starts off not as good and then builds and builds and builds to
Oh, in that
to
case,
perfection.
then that would be anti-clockwise.
Yeah, okay, so it's
yeah.
a similar kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. No, honestly, it's a cracking little road, and it's
And
one
on
where...
either of those two bikes that you mentioned, that would be quite a day.
Well,
then.
here's the interesting thing. On the Fireblade, you'd have to make it work, and it will be a lot more effort to
But
do it
surely
at
that's
speed.
more fun.
Agreed. But whereas on the Hayabusa, it could be a lot more relaxed and just as quick. Not as quick, arguably, through the corners, but the moment you start to turn the bike up and you just wind it on, it would just... It'd be more relaxed on the Hayabusa, but arguably, overall, probably just as quick.
Oh, well, no doubt.
Yeah, but the Fireblade, I think, well, it'll be fun on the Fireblade, but the issue is the corners are not massively tight. There's not a lot of what we call point and squirt. Now, what I mean by point and squirt, as in literally, you're pointing at a corner, you squirt, you're there, and it's quite a tight corner. So it's brake, 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 tight corner, boom, bang, you're out again.
Yeah.
And you can't really do that with long flowing corners. You can, but you're going a lot faster. But the fun really is really slowing down and really speeding up all the time.
Of course it is. and it's no different in the car.
Yeah,
so my only question before we move on would be then, is there a good pub at the end of it? And I'll tell you why. You don't need to answer. I'll tell you why. You can then pull up in your Honda, whatever.
We can talk about it.
And I'll catch up with you 5 minutes later in my Up GTI.
There's a pub right at the end of the actual road, because when you hit Buckingham, you just go into Buckingham, which is a lovely little kind of like garden town, as it were.
Yeah.
But there are pubs in Buckingham.
Yeah.
We'll just have to go to one of
I
them.
was just basically trying to say that you'll be there first, and you'll have to get the order in before I pull up.
I think I'll be there probably a couple of years before you, if you're in the Up.
Oh, if somebody owns an Up GTI and they're watching this, I'm on your side. So moving on to the second one I've got then. And again, I think I got this from Evo. It's something called Surrey Hills, and I'm going to have to read a bit of this one, so forgive me, everyone. It says here, starting from the edge of Kent Downs to the South Downs National Park, covering 163 square miles, it has, in Evo's words, is great for threading briskly down the sinuous and unfailing gorgeous country lanes. You can tell I didn't write this, can't you? Between the two perfect, as in literally two perfect villages with their pubs and cute cottages, etc. And again, apparently on this route there is a nice country pub in the Vale of Holmesdale, which breaks up the journey so that you can have a bit of, I guess, brain nourishment and a sort of before you get ready to build the adrenaline again. Probably helped by a couple of caffeine coffees for me. But it sounds like another one I need to tick off the boxes.
Well, the South Downs, I've driven through them a couple of times, and they are quite nice. They're very picturesque, and some of the roads, literally, because the South Downs are just... How do I describe the South Downs? It's hilly, but not hilly like Scotland.
Okay.
It's just kind of gentle rolling hills almost. and the roads are just like long, and some of the roads are long and sweeping, and yeah. So
You're
it'll
more
be
southern
another-
than I am, you see. For me, I'm a Brummie, aren't I? So anything
Yeah,
below
yeah, yeah.
Watford is south to me, isn't it, to be fair?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
so
your ears start popping, don't you, when you
I do.
come down here?
over to you then for your second.
Yeah, second and
Of
final
two.
road. I've got a name of the towns. It's in Wales.
Yeah,
And it's
well,
about-
Wales has got some.
Oh, it's got some
Stunning
roads.
views and roads, to be fair.
Yeah. And it's a road around Abergavenny and Llandovery. And then when
It's
you
just a stunning road.
yeah, I mean,
I guess for bike or car.
yeah, because basically it's scenic, and a couple of places it's literally in a couple of places. When you get to Llandovery, if you go north towards, I'm trying to think where it is now. There's a particular road for what appears to be miles. It's literally switchbacks.
But that's great because it keeps you on your toes and it's more.
Never ending.
It's more fun.
It's just like, I remember many moons ago when I lived in Slough, I used to
Told you
get
it
up
was more
early-
southern than me.
Yeah, I used to get up very early one morning and drive across to Wales just to do this particular route and then drive home again. So it'd be a long day, but my God, it was worth the pain
Of course.
to get down there.
I suppose I'm
What a
kind of
road.
cheating because it's not on my list, but because you've said Wales, there's a route that I've done many times in Wales, and I know it's on the A417. I know it's mid Wales, and I know it's when you climb, and you do climb, out of a place called something like Dolgefley. I'm not going to pronounce it correctly because it's Welsh and I'm Brummie, but let's just call it Dolgefley. Dolgefley, incidentally, is the place where a lot of photographers go to film RAF jets and the US versions doing their flying through the
the valleys.
hill. Yes.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Wow.
it's worth going just
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
So the A417, it climbs out of Dolgefley, and then you go past a little place called Bronaborough, etc., etc., and eventually you turn right, and you're kind of heading to I think it's Blaenau Festiniog, something like that. And then if you carry on again out the other side of Blaenau, you get to somewhere called Betsy Coed, which is on the way to Snowdon and whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that road between Blaenau Festiniog and Betsy Coed it's beautiful to look at, and it's got all these lovely sweeps. Sometimes you feel a bit more enclosed. Sometimes it looks like you can see for miles. The balance of what you get, you're getting all the stuff for the money that you're spending in fuel. It's well worth every single minute of that drive because
Wow.
you just, again, you've got a great mix of, oh, this is enjoyable and I can see lots, and then you've got another mix of, oh, this is a bit tighter and it's a good. Anyway, as I've got three, I need to finish and wrap up this, don't I? So the third one, drum roll please, because I'm a Brummie, is something called a Midlands Tick. Have you ever heard of it?
Why is it called a tick? As in because it does that?
It does, but in reverse. So it's a reverse tick.
Oh right,
effectively.
fine. So it's not something that lashes onto your skin and sucks your blood out then.
Not quite. So the Midlands tick, and I'm going to have to read a little bit of this verbatim. It is the shape of a reverse tick, and it is based in the Midlands, albeit sort of to the right of the Midlands, I guess. And it takes you on a 50-mile route that takes you through Nottinghamshire and Leicestershire. And all I've put here is it offers the fantastic mix, which is what we're lusting over, of driving roads with a sprinkling of not one, but two old RAF bases. Because for me, a good driving road, it's great, have fun, but if you've got a couple of bits that you can stop, have a break and see and look at.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because it's like when I did the North Coast 500 a couple of years ago. Scenery is breathtaking, roads are breathtaking, but I always had an issue whereby I'm kind of beating myself up because the roads are so good you want to go fast. Mm-hmm. But the scenery is so good
You want to take it in.
you want to slow down and take it in.
Doing both can be a little bit problematic.
I know.
Unless you want to become part of
Yeah.
the scenery, in which case that's
So,
a whole different story.
That's why it's not the sort of road, or any of these roads really, that if they're that beautiful, either ones in Wales, the one you're mentioning now, the North Coast 500 specifically, that you can do it just once. I've got to have to do it a few more times.
For me personally, and I am going to film at least a couple of these for the channel at some point in whatever car I choose to do it in. Doesn't matter. They can be fun no matter what. I will definitely be going out on
Do
a very...
it in the Tato.
In the Tato.
Yeah.
It's called a Daihatsu Tanto.
Tanto then, yeah,
Tato.
close enough.
My smart specialist in Birmingham calls it the toaster. Because it's tall and narrow. What I will be doing is the obvious. I will head out there and start filming, and it'll be like on a summer's morning at 6 o'clock on a Sunday, because you want to enjoy the road without lots of other people.
Yeah.
So it takes in not one but two old RAF bases, and you go through the town of Melton Mowbray, which, as we all know, is famous for...
salad cream.
It's funny, isn't it?
A decent pork pie, you've got to have a bit of salad cream with it.
It doesn't agree with me, and I don't agree with it, which makes it really problematic.
What's wrong with you, man?
Many things, I'm not listing them all today, well, which makes me really struggle when I go into
Restaurants.
shops
Yeah.
with pre-packed sandwiches and stuff,
God,
and
yeah.
you're
Because they'll
struggling to
always have
find...
arguably one or the other.
I'm always
won't they?
looking for the one sandwich in the corner that's
That has
curling
sod all on
up,
it.
that's got just cheese and ham on it. Then I'm all right then. So for me, that's it. The Midlands tick, because I'm from the Midlands.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking with my VW Up GTI.
Okay.
Another podcast done.
Yeah, well, assuming this one is good enough to be released.
It'll be good enough to be released. And if more than 5 people watch it, we're winning. I like the roads that I've chosen, and I am looking forward to trying them. I hope you get to try yours again at some point in the future on said suitable bike.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching or listening. And from me, Paul, and...
Oh, sorry, yeah, Ack.
We'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.